Ooh, that was a bit of a crash. Welcome to another episode of Run with Julia. Emerging from the gym at 7:30. I went in there at 6:30, and then Nadia and I are going for a run round Battersea Park. And it's really lovely to be back in the rhythm of running, and don't got our extras in our film. Lovely to be back in the rhythm of running. Here we are, going for a run again. Nadi's been running on his own for the last few weeks a lot, but I was reflecting that running is very simple. Thank you. Running is very, very simple. It is literally one step in front of the other. That is it. That's all it is. And yet, it can be as complex as whatever's going on within each human being, because everything we're doing is can be a reflection of our inner workings. So sometimes it flows and it's wonderful, and there's a flow and a rhythm which is an inner state, and at other times it can feel difficult and stark, and we're in the thoroughfare here, aren't we? Oh, it's that people keep going on the outside. That's very nice. See, people love working together. Literally, the essence of humanity is we want to work together to be, you know, share our experiences, to be connected, and we notice that lots of people have just gone out of the way of this video. But yes, running is a reflection of what's going on within us, and that's why it can be such a useful barometer, because it isn't difficult. And I was just talking to Tom, my PT, in there, and I said, and neither's life actually. It is just a flow of experiencing, but it becomes as more complex as what's going on within us. So I think the essence is to just take that step and that next step and be in the step you're in, and trust that the next is going to take care of itself, and then that flow happens, and that experience of the zone, which is talked about in running, when you get out of the way of yourself and you allow the rhythm of the run. We're on the Alba Bridge, and I think that any of you have seen some of my videos know I absolutely love this bridge, but I also just love bridges, and it was instilled in me, I think, by my father, who was a civil engineer, and he just loved bridges and their beauty, their strength, the way they blend with the landscape. But they're these incredible structures, and where that Nadi's having to run, and he was one of the initial team on Waterloo Bridge, and 1938 was a young engineer. He was 26, and he was part of the team. Brendel, Palmer and Tritton was the company that built Waterloo Bridge. So I think that's where, oh, now we've got clear run, I think that's where it might have instilled in me, because we grew up with my dad having built bridges. I do love this bridge, and it's sort of always representative of crossing the bridge into other worlds, and we're crossing the bridge into the magical world of Battersea Park. Just revisiting the ideas about being simple and one foot in front of the other. Obviously, as I said, clearly, if we look around us at people in life and in running, it isn't simple. And I think that does come from, you know, the complexity of this human journey, and people unravelling and discovering and finding out how to free themselves from their pain, their conditioning, all the things I work with in my work as a therapist and coach and mentor, healer, all those things. But actually, as people clear the blocks, heal the wounds, things that do become very simple, and often it's useful to keep taking a step and staking a step. Sometimes we need support to do that, both in running and in life. If you can just keep taking a step. I remember reading Bear Grylls said about climbing Everest, that just keep taking tiny steps, keep moving. And that is something that, even when sometimes people have to stop, I sometimes work with people who've had to stop because of the immense, pain in their being. So they've had to stop what they're doing, their work, whatever. But they take a step by talking to me. So taking a step, just a gentle step, and I'll hold their hand to take those steps. Same when we're injured. We can go to a physio and we go to, have some massage, have some treatments, just go for alternative things to running, just a bit of swimming. Keep taking a little step forward. And I always think then, as the energy builds and gathers, you're still moving to let it expand. And I know with running, because it's been quite a year of a lot of work, and also a year where I had quite a lot of pain in my body. I've just kept going, and I can honestly say that my body now feels better than it's felt all year. From when my back went out when I did a mountain race in Corfu, the end of 2023. I'm feeling the best. The thing is, I've also got a lot of work, so I'm just gently flowing with the flow, going with the go. So another bridge to the river, Chelsea Bridge. I always love it when we come back to London, we come into Victoria, and there it is, beautiful bridge. And again, reflecting on the run with Anadi about...
You can do it! Keep going! That's a good affirmation.
That's a good affirmation, exactly. That's as I was saying earlier, that I've always known it's important to keep going. And if I've had times where there's been less time, or times where it hasn't been as easy, I've just kept going. So thank you. But with creative visualization, I've done that from a young age, and interestingly I'm working with some young clients, two of whom happen to be very, very good sports people in their very early 20s. So we do a lot of work with creative visualization and feelings of excitement rather than nerves, and a feeling of enjoying their sport, having their energy flow through them, and affirming positive language combined with the feeling. And I, as an athlete in the past, did a lot of that, and then don't do as much now. I've never been as busy in my work life now, my whole life, and I've always had a flow to my door. But I was reflecting that, in effect, I have an acceptance that my higher self, even though I was saying, oh, I'd like a bit more space for running, actually, my higher self, I think, knows that particularly at the moment, lots and lots of work is actually where my path is. And that Nadia and I were talking over dinner, saying that the space to myself is inside me, but that space of expansion, relaxation, freedom is within me, and that the actual space is a limited amount of space for running, but that I trust that my higher self knows the way, and that all of this work that's flooding to my door is where I accept that that's where I'm living and going at the moment, because otherwise I'm fighting the river, and yet the space is inside me, and I am going running, well, as you see, little breaks along the way. So onward, we're nearly home, and what a lovely morning running with Anadi. Back from my run, and that was lovely. And as I said, I do think the most important thing in running has been for me the longevity of my running career, because I've been competing for 50 years, but I've been running for nearly 60. I started when I was 6 and I'll be 66 next year. And I think the longevity of it has been taking the next step. And as I said earlier, and Bear Grylls said, keep moving, keep taking small steps. And I've always kept moving. So even in, you know, times when the path's woven in different ways, I've still just kept on the running path, because I recognise it's a path for me with no end, and that it is a path of great learning and a path of great unfolding. And actually there's a poem I love called Ithaka. Unfortunately I can't quote you any of it but I love it so much. Actually I'll put it in the description below, because it talks all about this journeying to Ithaka and the richness of the journey and all the things you might uncover and discover on this journey. And that if then when you arrive at Ithaka she's just a barren kind of rock, it doesn't matter, because the journey has been rich with learning and rich with experience and rich with, you know, understanding. And I feel that with the running path, wherever I'm going on this running path, it doesn't actually matter, because the path is so rich with experience and relationship and friendship and fun and discoveries and learnings, and it's never ended. And however long I've been running, there's always a new discovery and a new acceptance and a new appreciation and of the fact that I have this body that likes to run, and here I am running along in it. And even in patches where I'm not doing as much, or it's, you know, the body hurts a bit, I still keep taking the step. Obviously not steps when my body hurts so much that it can't run, but still there's an inner step, there's an inner just acceptance, and there's an inner recognition of the unfolding of it. And that I always think there's a rhythm. It's like there are seasons, and it's like the tide goes in and the tide comes out. Actually I've done that the wrong way around. The tide comes in and the tide goes out, and it's flowing with those rhythms, flowing with the rhythms of life, allows the enjoyment. Because when we fight things, and I learned that a long time ago, I knew in my 20s that when I pushed too hard it never worked, and when I tried to get too quickly to an outcome I generally didn't get there. So and that, yeah, the path unfolds. Actually I had an interesting experience on last day, so Monday this week. We're in Malta, and I went down to the beach again and I ran on the sand, and it was beautiful and wonderful. And I then was running up the hill. It was a mile uphill, and this young man flew past me, and on he went. We said good morning, and then halfway up the hill there he was walking. So I caught him up, and he said, "Oh, what's it like running in those?" Because I had my Skinner socks on, and I said, "Oh, it's fine. I've done it a long time, and I've been running barefoot on the beach." And then he said, "Oh, you're English." Anyway, that was that. On I ran. Anyway, a little bit later, I hear these steps, and he catches me up, and we have a lovely chat up the hill. And he's 22. He's called Ryan. Hello, Ryan, if you watch this. And it was really lovely, again, meeting friends on the run. And so, you know, half a mile up a hill, we had a chat and talked about our running and talked about his races that are coming up. And I thought, this is just the wonderful thing about the running path, is you gather friends as you go, because there's lots of us on this path. And it is the same as the path of life. We're all on our own journey, but we can connect and encourage and share along the way. So thank you as always for running with me, and I love it. And if you've loved the video, please put a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. And yeah, let's keep on running.